Maya's phone screen cast a pale glow across Lily's darkened bedroom. The text message stared back at her, each word a small detonation. "Come see how I upgraded." Below it, Ethan Crane smiled from a Forbes cover, his arm draped around a woman who looked like she'd stepped out of a jewelry advertisement. All sharp cheekbones and sharper diamonds. "Mommy," Lily's voice pulled her back. "You stop doing the voices." Maya blinked down at the picture book in her lap, some story about a princess and a dragon she'd read on autopilot. "Sorry, baby." "Where were we?" "The dragon just found out," the princess lied. Lily's brown eyes, so much like Ethan's it sometimes hurt to look at them, searched her face. "Are you sad?" "No, sweetheart." Maya smoothed the curls from Lily's forehead. "Just tired." She finished the story, kissed Lily's nose, and closed the door with a soft click. Her hands shook as she forwarded the screenshot to Corinne. The phone rang before she reached the kitchen. "Tell me you're not crying over that pompous ass." Maya sank onto her threadbare couch. "I'm not crying." "Good. Because you need to pack a dress and crash that gala." Corinne's voice crackled with the righteousness of someone who'd been waiting 6 years to say this. "Tell him about Lily." "No, Maya." He made his choice. The memory rose unbidden, standing outside that restaurant bathroom 6 years ago, waiting to surprise Ethan with the positive pregnancy test she'd taken that morning. His voice had carried through the wall, casual and cruel as he spoke to his college buddy. "Maya, she's great, but come on. Non-profit girl from Oakland? It's temporary fun, not a future." She'd walked out before dessert arrived, changed her number that night, disappeared into the anonymity of a city that swallowed people whole if they wanted it to. "He called you temporary fun," Corinne said, reading her mind the way she always did. 6 years ago, you were 22 and he was a cocky kid with his first million. People change. Billionaires don't. Maybe not. But that little girl in there deserves to know if her father changed or not. Corinne's voice softened. "And you deserve to look him in his upgraded face and show him exactly what he lost." Maya pulled Lily's latest drawing from the fridge, a crayon family portrait featuring Mummy, a blank space labeled Daddy, and Lily in the middle. The question mark felt like an accusation. "I can't afford a dress for that kind of gala." "You can afford a backbone, though." Corinne paused. "I'm coming over. We're raiding your closet and my credit card." After they hung up, Maya stood at her kitchen window overlooking the apartment complex courtyard. A father pushed his daughter on the swing set below, her delighted shrieks floating up through the night. Lily watched those fathers at playgrounds with the kind of longing that split Maya's heart clean down the middle. She picked up her phone, stared at Ethan's message. "Come see how I upgraded." Her thumbs moved before doubt could stop them. "I'll be there." The reply bubbled up immediately, as if he'd been waiting. "Knew you couldn't resist." Maya deleted the thread. She wasn't going for him. She was going for the 5-year-old girl asleep down the hall, the one who asked about the man in Mummy's old photos, the one who deserved answers, even if they broke both their hearts. "We're going to a fancy party on Saturday." Maya crouched beside Lily at the breakfast table, watching syrup drip from her daughter's waffle. "To meet someone important." Lily's fork paused mid-air. "Like a princess party." "Something like that." Maya's stomach twisted. "You'll need to wear your special dress. The purple one with the sparkles?" "That's the one, baby." Lily bounced in her chair, oblivious to the weight pressing down on Maya's chest. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. No child should meet her father for the first time at a Billionaire's charity gala. But Maya had run out of better options the moment she'd hit send. Corinne arrived that afternoon with coffee and the expression of a general preparing for battle. "All right, what are you going to say when you see him?" Maya folded another of Lily's shirts. "Hello? Try again." "Ethan, meet your daughter." "Better." Corinne perched on the bed. "What if he denies she's his?" "Then I leave." Maya's hands stilled. "I'm not begging. I just want him to see her. To know she exists. And if he asks why you never told him?" The question hung between them. Maya had rehearsed this answer 1,000 times in her head, but it never sounded right out loud. "Because you called me temporary. Because I was 22 and terrified. Because I convinced myself you didn't deserve to know." "I'll tell him the truth," she said finally, "that I was scared." Corinne pulled a black dress from Maya's closet, simple, elegant, bought for a non-profit fundraiser years ago. "Wear this. Let Lily's purple sparkles do the talking." Across the bay, Ethan Crane's Sausalito estate buzzed with the controlled chaos of event preparation. White-jacketed servers practiced their routes through the ballroom, Florists arranged orchids that cost more than Maya's monthly rent. Vanessa Crane stood at the center of it all, clipboard in hand, directing traffic like a maestro. The Rothsteins are seated at table 4, not 7. She didn't look up as Ethan entered. And your photographer friend from college is not on the guest list. Good evening to you too, Mother. Is it? Vanessa's gaze flicked to him. You've been distracted all week. The Hendersons expect you to announce the new funding initiative, and you haven't even reviewed the speech. Because he couldn't stop thinking about that text message. I'll be there. Maya Collins, who'd vanished from his life like smoke, was coming to his gala. Part of him had sent that invitation as a test proof that he'd moved on, that she meant nothing. The other part wanted to know why she'd left. The speech is fine, he said. Vanessa's lips thinned. Alessandra called, You're late for dinner. The restaurant was the kind of place where silence cost extra. Alessandra sat perfectly straight, wine untouched, looking through Ethan rather than at him. Your mother wants us to announce a wedding date, she said. Does she? I told her spring. Botanical gardens. Limited press. Alessandra's finger traced the rim of her glass. We should probably discuss whether we're actually going through with this. Ethan met her eyes. They were beautiful, empty, utterly uninterested in him, beyond the status his last name provided. Are we? Do you want to? The honest answer lodged in his throat. They'd gotten engaged because it made sense, two powerful families, good optics, mutual ambition. What they didn't have was love, heat, anything resembling actual desire to wake up beside each other for the next 50 years. Spring sounds fine, he said, because it was easier than the truth. Alessandra smiled without warmth. Liar. Maya sat cross-legged on her bedroom floor past midnight. Old photos spread before her like tarot cards. Ethan laughing at a food truck. Ethan asleep on her ratty couch, one arm flung over his eyes. Ethan kissing her temple at Ocean Beach, the fog rolling in behind them. She'd burned most of these after Lily was born, but kept a few. For evidence, she'd told herself. For proof that it had been real, even if it hadn't been permanent. Lily's purple dress hung on the closet door, freshly ironed. Maya had already laid out white tights, black Mary Janes, the small butterfly clips Lily loved. No more hiding, she whispered to the empty room. Saturday loomed like a storm on the horizon, and Maya had no umbrella. Saturday arrived cold and bright. Maya zipped Lily into the purple dress, while her daughter chattered about sparkly things and fancy cakes. Her hands shook so badly she had to try the zipper 3 times. The Fairmont Grand Ballroom glowed like something out of a dream crystal chandeliers, marble floors that reflected light like water, women in gowns that cost more than Maya's annual rent. She stood in the entrance, Lily's small hand gripped tight in hers. It's so shiny, Mummy. Yes, baby, it is. Maya smoothed her black dress. Around them, diamonds caught the light. Conversations floated past in fragments, stock portfolios, vacation homes, charity tax write-offs. She didn't belong here, never had, but Lily did. That was the thing Ethan didn't know yet. The crowd shifted, drawn toward the stage where a man in a tuxedo spoke into a microphone. Maya's breath caught. 6 years. He looked the same, older maybe, sharper around the edges. Success sat on his shoulders like a tailored jacket. His voice carried across the ballroom, smooth and practiced, talking about philanthropic initiatives and corporate responsibility. Then his gaze swept the room and landed on her. The words died in his throat. Maya watched the color drain from his face, watched him grip the podium. The audience murmured, confused by the sudden silence. She took a step forward, then another. The sea of designer gowns and tuxedos parted. Some faces showed curiosity. Others showed the sharp interest of people who smelled scandal. Lily tugged her hand. Mummy, is that him? Her daughter's voice carried in the hush. Clear, innocent, devastating. Yes, baby. Ethan's eyes dropped to Lily. Maya watched him see it. The shape of his own face reflected in miniature, those grey-green eyes he'd inherited from his father. Lily stared back with unguarded curiosity, the way 5-year-olds do. You have pretty lights, Lily said, pointing at the chandelier. Someone laughed nervously. Maya's pulse hammered in her ears. She stopped 5 feet from the stage, lifted her chin the way her mother taught her, spine straight, head high, even when the world wants you small. Ethan, her voice didn't shake, small mercy. This is Lily, your daughter. The flash went off before the last word left her mouth. White light exploded across her vision. Maya flinched. Lily pressed against her leg. Through the spots dancing in her eyes, she saw the photographer phone raised, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. The silence shattered. Voices erupted. Questions fired from all directions. Someone grabbed Ethan's arm, a woman in emerald silk, beautiful in that polished, untouchable way. His fiancée. Had to be. "What is this?" Alessandra's voice cut through the chaos. "Who is she?" The champagne glass slipped from her other hand. Crystal met marble with a sound like a gunshot. Shards scattered across the floor, golden liquid spreading in a pool that caught the light. Lily whimpered. Maya scooped her up, turned toward the exit. This was a mistake. She should have done this privately. Should have. Maya. Wait. Ethan's voice stopped her, looked older. Sharper angles where there'd been softness. Same dark hair, same broad shoulders that filled out the tuxedo like he'd been born wearing one. He spoke about community investment, his voice smooth and practiced. Then he saw her. The microphone feedback screeched. Ethan's mouth opened, closed. His gaze locked on Lily, traveled up to Maya, back to Lily. The color drained from his face. The ballroom went quiet. Hundreds of eyes turned. Lily tugged Maya's hand. "Mummy, why'd everyone stop talking?" "It's okay, sweet." A woman in emerald silk cut through the crowd. Alessandra, the fiancée from the Forbes cover, even more beautiful in person. Her smile belonged on a knife's edge. "Well," Alessandra's voice carried, "this is quite the entrance." Maya's throat closed. "Alessandra," Ethan stepped off the stage. "No, let her speak." Alessandra circled Maya like a predator. "I'm curious what story she's selling. Let me guess, surprise pregnancy? Child support negotiations fell through? Decided a public venue would get better results?" Heat flooded Maya's face. Whispers erupted around them. Lily pressed against Maya's leg. "Mummy, this is a publicity stunt," Alessandra announced to the room. "Security. That's enough." A new voice, cold as winter. An older woman in navy Chanel materialized beside Alessandra. Vanessa Crane. Maya recognized her from business magazines. "Security, please escort these two out." Quietly, two men in dark suits approached. "Wait." Ethan vaulted off the stage, stumbled through the crowd. He stopped 3 feet away, staring at Lily like she might vanish. "Is this real?" Maya's hand trembled as she reached into her clutch. The birth certificate crinkled when she unfolded it. She held it out. Ethan took it. His eyes scanned the page, stopped at the line that read, "Father unknown." "You didn't," his voice cracked. "You never told me." "I tried," Maya's whisper barely carried. "You made it clear what I was to you." "What you—" Ethan looked up, face twisted in confusion. "What are you talking about?" "Temporary fun. Nothing serious." Maya quoted his words back to him. "Your friend asked if you were getting serious with the non-profit girl. That's what you said." Recognition flashed across his face. Guilt followed. Alessandra laughed, sharp and brittle. "Oh, this is priceless." She rounded on Ethan. "You didn't even remember her, did you?" "That's not—" Ethan started. The slap echoed through the ballroom. Alessandra's palm print bloomed red on his cheek. She twisted the engagement ring off her finger and hurled it at his feet. The diamond skittered across marble. "We're done." Alessandra's voice shook with fury. "I knew you were shallow, Ethan. I didn't realize you were pathetic." She swept past, emerald silk trailing like poison. The crowd erupted. Voices overlapped. Phones appeared. Cameras flashed. Lily burst into tears. "Shh, baby. It's okay." Maya scooped her daughter up. "I want to go home." Lily sobbed into Maya's neck. "We're leaving." Maya turned, but Vanessa blocked her path. "If you think this little performance entitles you to anything, move." Maya's voice came out raw. "Now." Something in her face made Vanessa step aside. Maya ran. Through the crowd, past the whispers and stares, out into the cold San Francisco night. She didn't look back at Ethan, frozen on the ballroom floor with a birth certificate in his hands and his life imploding around him. The Oakland apartment felt smaller than ever. Maya set Lily down on the worn couch, hands still shaking. "Mummy, why was everyone mad?" "They weren't mad at you, baby." Maya stroked her daughter's curls. "Never at you." Her phone buzzed. Then, again, and again. Unknown number, unknown number. Bay Area Tribune. Maya's stomach dropped. She opened her browser. The headline blazed across her screen. "Billionaire Ethan Crane's secret love child crashes charity gala." Below it, the photo. Crystal clear despite the chaos. Lily's hand in Maya's. Ethan's stricken face. Alessandra mid-slap. 5,000 shares. 10,000. The number climbed while Maya watched. Her phone rang again. She threw it across the room. What had she done? D on Alessandra's cheek. She yanked the diamond ring off her finger and hurled it. It bounced off Ethan's chest, skittered across marble. We're done. Alessandra's voice shook. Enjoy your little family reunion. She swept toward the exit. Half the ballroom followed, a mass exodus of uncomfortable elites. Vanessa stepped between Maya and Ethan. This conversation happens through lawyers. Not here. Mom. Security. Now. The men in suits moved closer. Lily whimpered. Maya scooped her daughter up, turned, and walked. Head high, legs steady despite the earthquake inside her chest. Behind her, Ethan called her name. She didn't stop. Sunday morning light filtered through the Oakland apartment's thin curtains. Lily sat at the kitchen table, swinging her feet, watching Maya crack eggs into a bowl. Mommy? Did I do something bad? Maya's hand froze. What? No, baby. Why would you think that? That fancy lady was mad. And the grandma lady. Lily's bottom lip trembled. Was it bad I wanted to meet him? Maya abandoned the eggs, knelt beside her daughter. She cupped Lily's face. You didn't do anything wrong. Not one single thing. You hear me? Then why was everyone yelling? Because grown-ups are complicated and messy, and sometimes we make everything harder than it needs to be. Maya kissed her forehead. But you? You were perfect. The phone rang. Maya checked the screen. Unknown number. She nearly declined, then thought of reporters, and answered. Miss Collins. A woman's voice, crisp and professional. This is Patricia Rothman calling on behalf of Vanessa Crane. Mrs. Crane requests you submit to a paternity test within 48 hours. Should you attempt to extort the Crane family or seek financial compensation before establishing paternity, we will pursue legal action to the fullest. Maya hung up. Her hands shook. She gripped the counter, knuckles white, breathing through her nose. Mommy, it's okay. The lie tasted like ash. How about pancakes? Ethan hadn't slept. Still wore yesterday's tuxedo, bow tie unknotted and hanging loose. He sat in his home office, laptop open, scrolling through paparazzi photos uploaded overnight. Lily in Maya's arms. Lily's face turned toward the camera. Dark curls, light brown skin, eyes the exact shade of grey-green Ethan saw in the mirror every morning. His daughter. He zoomed in on her smile. She had Maya's nose, his chin. A stranger and completely familiar all at once. The office door opened. Vanessa entered with a leather portfolio, immaculate despite the early hour. Patricia called Maya Collins. Paternity test requested. Cease and desist delivered. She set papers on his desk. Here's the crisis plan. We deny until proven, settle quietly with an NDA, and you issue a statement about privacy and moving forward. Ethan didn't look up from the photo. She's mine. We don't know. I know. His voice came out flat. Final. She's mine. Vanessa studied him. Something shifted in her expression. The text, the invitation to the gala. That was your idea, wasn't it? Silence. You foolish, arrogant. She stopped herself, exhaled slowly. What did you think would happen? Not this? Then you're more naive than I thought. Vanessa picked up her portfolio. Fix it, however you need to. But understand, you created this mess. She left. Ethan grabbed his keys at 10:30 a.m., drove across the Bay Bridge with his heart hammering, found Maya's address from the birth certificate, climbed 3 flights in a building that needed paint, knocked. Maya opened the door. Red-rimmed eyes, no makeup, hair pulled back. Still beautiful, still wrecking him. Can we talk? She answered on the 4th ring. Miss Collins, this is Gregory Whitmore from Crane Legal. We're calling regarding... Maya hung up. Her hands shook. The phone rang again. Different number. She turned it off. Returned to the stove. Poured batter onto the griddle with mechanical precision. Pancakes? Lily brightened. With chocolate chips. A knock rattled the apartment door. Maya's stomach dropped. She checked the peephole. Ethan stood in the hallway, rumpled dress shirt untucked, shadows under his eyes. She closed hers, breathed. Another knock. Mummy? Lily slid off her chair. Who is it? Maya opened the door 6 inches. What are you doing here? Can we talk? His voice scraped raw. Please. She glanced back at Lily, who peered around the kitchen doorframe with wide eyes. Maya stepped into the hall, pulled the door nearly closed. "Your lawyer already called. I'm not signing anything without—" "I fired the lawyer." She blinked. "Well, not fired. Told him to stand down." Ethan dragged a hand through his hair. "My mother sent him. I didn't know until this morning." "Right." Maya crossed her arms. "And I'm supposed to believe you just happened to drive over here at 10:30 on a Sunday. I've been outside since 7, trying to figure out what to say." Her anger wavered. She studied his face, the exhaustion written in every line, the desperate honesty in his eyes. "5 minutes," she said. Lily sat on the couch, clutching her stuffed rabbit, watching Ethan like he might vanish. "Hi," he said, crouching to her level. "I'm Ethan." "I know." Her voice came small. "You're my daddy." The word nearly broke him. Maya saw it cross his face, wonder and terror and grief for 5 lost years. "Lily, baby, go play in your room for a bit. Mr. Crane and I need to talk." "Can he stay for pancakes?" "We'll see. Go on." Lily scampered down the hall. Her door clicked shut. Maya gestured to the kitchen table. They sat across from each other, the same distance as strangers. "Why didn't you tell me?" She'd expected accusations. The quiet devastation in his voice undid her. "You want the truth? Please. 6 years ago, that party at your penthouse, the one with all your tech friends." Maya's throat tightened. "I went to the bathroom. When I came back, I heard you in the kitchen with some guy. He asked if you were getting serious with the non-profit girl. You laughed and said, 'I was temporary fun, nothing you'd bring home to your mother.'" Ethan went white. "I was 3 weeks pregnant, terrified, and I realized you'd never actually want us." She met his eyes. "So I didn't give you the chance to reject her." "Maya, I wasn't going to beg you to care. I was drunk," his voice broke, "and stupid and scared because I was falling for you so hard it terrified me. That guy Marcus, he kept needling me about settling down, and I panicked, said the exact opposite of what I felt. That's convenient. I have proof." He pulled out his phone with shaking hands, scrolled, turned it toward her. A text draft, dated 6 years ago, 2 days after she'd ghosted. "I'm sorry. I was an idiot at the party. I miss you. Please come back. Whatever I said, I didn't mean it. Never sent." Maya stared at the screen. "I rewrote it 40 times. Never had the guts to hit send." Ethan's jaw worked. "Figured you'd seen through my bullshit and wanted someone better." Footsteps padded down the hall. Lily appeared with a piece of construction paper and crayons. "I made something." She laid it on the table. A house, a stick figure girl with curly hair labeled "Me," a taller figure, "Mummy," and blank space beside them. "You need to draw the daddy," Lily told Ethan seriously. "So it's a whole family." He picked up the blue crayon. His hand trembled as he sketched a simple figure beside Maya's. Lily beamed. "Now we're complete." Maya's eyes burned. Ethan looked at her across 5 years of silence and hurt. "Let me be part of her life, however you want, whatever rules you need." "Supervised visits," Maya said. "Here, where she's comfortable. No press. And if you make her one promise you don't keep, we're done. Understand?" "Completely." "I mean it, Ethan." "I know." He stood, touched the drawing like a sacred thing. "I'm going to prove I've changed." Monday afternoon brought fog that clung to the eucalyptus trees bordering the playground. Maya spotted Ethan's Tesla before she saw him gleaming black, absurdly out of place among the Hondas and minivans. He emerged carrying a box. No, a mansion. 3 stories of Victorian gingerbread trim, hand-painted shutters, miniature chandeliers visible through tiny windows. Lily's eyes went wide. "I thought. Ethan, set it on the picnic table between them. Every little girl should have a dollhouse." "Wow." Lily touched one delicate column. "It's pretty." But she didn't squeal, didn't dive into imaginative play. Just stood there, polite and uncertain. Maya saw Ethan's face fall. She stood. "Lily, honey, go check if the swings are free, okay?" Once her daughter skipped out of earshot, Maya turned to Ethan. "She doesn't need toys." His jaw tightened. "I was trying to show up." Maya kept her voice gentle. "That's all. Just be here." The words landed. He looked at the ridiculous dollhouse, then back at the playground where Lily waited by the swings. "Right," he swallowed. "Can I go?" Ethan crossed the mulch, hands shoved in his pockets. Lily watched him approach with cautious eyes. "Want a push?" he asked. She nodded. For the next hour, Maya watched from her bench, Ethan pushing Lily higher, her nervous giggles turning genuine. Ethan crouched beneath the monkey bars, hands ready to catch, praising each rung crossed. Ethan sitting in the sandbox while Lily explained her elaborate castle design, nodding like she'd revealed the secrets of the universe. He listened, really listened. When Lily ran to the slide, chattering about a girl from preschool, Ethan followed. His expensive shoes collected wood chips. His shirt gathered playground dust. He didn't seem to notice. "Mr. Ethan, watch this." Lily went down backwards, arms spread wide. "That was amazing." He caught her at the bottom. "You're brave," she beamed. Maya's throat ached. This version of him, patient, present, laughing at knock-knock jokes that made no sense. This was the man she'd loved before fear ruined everything. But love wasn't enough last time. "Time to go, baby," Maya called. Lily's face fell. She turned to Ethan. "Will you come back tomorrow?" He looked at Maya. The question in his eyes, permission, hope, desperation, made her chest tight. She nodded. Lily threw her arms around his leg in a fierce hug, then ran to Maya. Ethan sat in his car afterward, hands gripping the steering wheel. 5 years of bedtime stories. First words, first steps, gone. He dropped his head and wept. His phone buzzed. "Thank you. I'll do better." He'd typed it before he realized. Maya's response came instantly. "You already are." Tuesday morning, Vanessa Crane sat across from Marcus Webb in a downtown cafe chosen for its discretion. The private investigator slid a tablet across the marble table. "I need everything," Vanessa said. "Criminal record, employment gaps, financial irregularities, men she's dated, debts, anything." Marcus's expression stayed neutral. "And if there's nothing, there's always something." That afternoon, Ethan met them at the Oakland Public Library. Lily dragged him to the children's section, pulling picture books from shelves with the confidence of a regular patron. "This one has a dragon who's scared of knights," she announced, climbing into his lap. Maya watched from the reading nook. Ethan's hand settled naturally on Lily's back as he read, doing voices that made her giggle. Wednesday, they went for ice cream. Lily got rainbow sprinkles and declared it the best day ever. But later, tucked into bed, she whispered to Maya in the dark, "Mommy? Yeah, baby? Is Daddy E going to leave like everyone else?" Maya's breath caught. Everyone else. The parade of her mother's boyfriends who'd promised to stay. Maya's own father, though death wasn't choice. The absence Lily had learned to expect. "I don't know, sweetheart." Honesty felt cruel. Lies felt worse. Lily's silence said everything. Wednesday afternoon, Marcus called Vanessa. "I've got the report." She arrived at his office within the hour, settling into the leather chair with anticipation. He opened the file. Maya Collins, 28, born in Oakland, raised by a single mother after her father's death when she was 8. Bachelor's degree in non-profit management from SF State, graduated with honors, despite working 2 jobs. Spotless employment record across 3 non-profit organizations before going freelance 5 years ago. Criminal history, parking tickets, 2, both paid. Financial? Struggling, but legitimate. Lives within her means. No unexplained income, no suspicious transactions. Pays rent on time despite tight margins. Her biggest expense is Lily's preschool. Vanessa's fingers drummed the armrest. Men? Lawsuits? Complaints? Marcus shook his head. No pattern of relationships with wealthy men. Actually, no relationships at all since Lily's birth. Former employers describe her as dedicated and principled. She left her last position because they misused grant funds, and she refused to participate. There has to be something. "Mrs. Crane." Marcus closed the file. "She's clean. More than clean, she's exactly what she appears to be, a single mother doing her best with limited resources." Vanessa left without another word. Thursday morning, she stood outside Maya's apartment building. The neighborhood wasn't dangerous, but it wasn't Pacific Heights either. Cracked sidewalks, overflowing recycling bins, a far cry from the world her son inhabited. Maya answered the door in jeans and a faded Howard University sweatshirt. Her eyes widened. "Mrs. Crane, we need to talk." Maya stepped aside. The apartment was small, spotless but worn, furniture that had seen better decades. Lily's drawings covered the refrigerator. A basket of unfolded laundry sat on the couch. "Lily's at preschool," Maya said. "No offer of coffee or seats." Vanessa remained standing. "Let's be direct. What's your price?" "Excuse me?" "To disappear. Quietly. A trust fund for Lily. A settlement for you. Name your figure. Maya's jaw tightened. Get out. Miss Collins, I don't want anything. Maya's voice shook with fury. Your son invited me to that gala to humiliate me. I went to show him what he lost. I've raised Lily alone for 5 years while he lived in a mansion, throwing parties, playing philanthropist. I never asked for a dime. He's here because he wants to be, so take your checkbook and leave. Vanessa had expected tears or negotiations, not this steel-spined rage. You can't possibly think you're suitable for what? Your world? Maya laughed bitterly. I don't want your world. I want my daughter to have a father who shows up. If Ethan can't do that, we were fine before and we'll be fine again. She opened the door. Vanessa left without another word. In her car, hands gripping the steering wheel, doubt crept in for the first time. She'd expected a con artist. She'd found a woman with more dignity than half her social circle. Thursday evening, Ethan pulled into his Sausalito driveway at 7:30, a Tupperware of lopsided sugar cookies on the passenger seat. Lily had decorated them with enough frosting to constitute a health hazard. Tongue stuck out in concentration, while Maya supervised from the counter. The house lights blazed. Odd he'd left everything dark. Inside, Alessandra stood in his living room in tailored Chanel, flanked by a man in an expensive suit, clutching a briefcase. You changed the gate code. Her voice carried no warmth. Ethan set the cookies on the entry table. Alessandra, what's this? Damage control. She gestured to the lawyer. Richard Pemberton. He's drafting a statement for you to release tomorrow morning. A statement, denying paternity until a test confirms otherwise, framing the Gala incident as an ambush by an unstable ex-girlfriend seeking financial gain. Richard opened the briefcase, producing papers. We'll position you as the victim of... No. Alessandra's jaw tightened. Ethan, be reasonable. Your reputation is my problem. He moved past them toward the bar, poured 2 fingers of scotch he didn't want. Let's just end this. We were never in love. Silence stretched. Richard glanced between them. Alessandra's shoulders dropped. Thank God. Ethan turned. She laughed, genuine, not bitter. I've been terrified you'd drag this out for appearance's sake. Ethan, we both know what this was. Your mother approved of my pedigree. My father approved of your portfolio. We were a merger, not a marriage. Then, why the lawyer? Because I needed to know you'd grown a spine. She crossed to him, kissed his cheek. That little girl at the gala, she looks at you like you hung the moon. Don't screw it up. Richard cleared his throat. Mrs. Moretti would still like a joint statement to preserve both parties' dignity. Draft something civil. Alessandra collected her purse. No blame, no drama. Just 2 people who realized they wanted different futures. She paused at the door. For what it's worth, the way you looked at Maya that night, I've never seen you look at anyone that way. Not even close. Friday morning, the statement dropped. Alessandra Moretti and Ethan Crane have mutually decided to end their engagement. They remain respectful friends and wish each other well. Social media erupted. Ethan ignored it. That afternoon, he called Maya from his office. The engagement's over. Silence crackled on the line. Maya? I heard you. Her voice stayed carefully neutral. Are you okay? I'm relieved. He leaned back in his chair, studied the framed photo of Lily's drawing on his desk. It was never real. I think we both knew that. Then why? Because I was trying to prove I'd moved on. From you, he exhaled. Turns out you can't move on from something that never ended. More silence. Then, Ethan, we need to focus on Lily right now. I know. Good. But her voice softened. I'm glad you're free of it. The engagement, I mean. After they hung up, Corinne appeared in Maya's kitchen doorway, grinning like a Cheshire cat. Don't start. Maya pointed a warning finger. He's falling for you again. He's adjusting to fatherhood. That's all. Girl, please. Corinne stole a grape from the counter. That man just blew up his entire life plan for you. Maya shook her head, turned back to chopping vegetables, but her hands trembled. That evening, Vanessa arrived at Ethan's house unannounced, fury radiating from her Hermes scarf to her Louboutin heels. You ended it. With Alessandra. Ethan didn't look up from his laptop. We ended it. Mutually. Because of that woman. Because we were miserable. He closed the computer. When did you stop caring if I was happy? Vanessa's mouth opened. Closed. She sat across from him, posture rigid. I want you protected. From what? A woman who's raised my daughter alone for 5 years without asking me for a dime? He leaned forward. The investigator didn't find anything, did he? Her silence confirmed it. Maya isn't the enemy, Mother. Stop treating her like one. Vanessa stood, smoothed her skirt. She's not what I expected. No, she's better. After she left, Ethan climbed the stairs to his bedroom. The house felt cavernous, empty. He opened the Tupperware, bit into a cookie. Too sweet frosting coated his tongue. Lily had used half the container on one star-shaped disaster. Perfect. He scrolled through his phone, found the photo he'd snapped that afternoon. Maya and Lily, laughing in her tiny kitchen, flour dusting their noses. He set it as his wallpaper. Fell asleep, smiling, crumbs on his pillow. Saturday morning, 2:15. Ethan jerked awake on Maya's lumpy couch, blanket twisted around his legs. A child's scream pierced the apartment's thin walls. He sat up, pulse hammering. The cry came again, raw, terrified. Maya's door flew open. Her silhouette moved through the darkness, murmuring low and urgent. The screaming dissolved into hiccuping sobs. Ethan rubbed his face, remembering where he was. He'd arrived at 11 the previous night with a stack of picture books he'd spent an embarrassing amount of time selecting at a Berkeley bookstore. Maya had made chamomile tea. They'd talked, really talked for the first time since the Gala, about her grant-writing work, his plans to step back from day-to-day operations, Lily's obsession with dinosaurs. Around 1, Maya had glanced at the clock and insisted he was too tired to drive home. He'd protested weakly, then accepted the threadbare blanket and lumpy cushions. Now he listened to Maya's soft voice through the wall. "Shh, baby. I'm right here. Mummy's right here." Lily's sobs quieted. A bed creaked. Ethan lay back down, staring at the water-stained ceiling. His daughter had nightmares. Of course she did. 5 years with an absent father, raised by a mother who'd been terrified and alone. The bedroom door opened. Small, bare feet padded across hardwood. Ethan propped himself on one elbow. Lily stood in the living room doorway, clutching a stuffed rabbit, tears tracking down her cheeks. "Hey." He kept his voice gentle. "You okay?" She blinked at him, surprised. "Mr. Ethan?" "Yeah, it's me." He sat up slowly, not wanting to startle her. "Couldn't sleep." Lily shuffled closer, rabbit dangling from one hand. "I had a bad dream. Want to tell me about it?" She climbed onto the couch beside him, small and warm in her unicorn pajamas. "Mummy left, like Grandma Rose did, and I was all alone, and nobody came." Ethan's throat tightened. He thought of Maya's face when she'd mentioned her own mother, the careful neutrality that spoke volumes. "Your mummy's never going to leave you," he said quietly. "She loves you more than anything in the world." Lily twisted the rabbit's ear. "Promise?" "Promise." She looked up at him, eyes enormous in the dim light filtering through the window. "Will you?" The question landed like a punch. Ethan thought of all the easy reassurances he could offer, the hollow promises that would cost him nothing. "I'm going to try really hard to stay." The words felt inadequate, honest. "I can't promise I'll be perfect, but I promise I'll keep showing up, every day I can." Lily studied him for a long moment. Then she leaned against his chest, rabbit squished between them. "Okay." Her breathing slowed, deepened. The rigid tension in her small body melted away. Ethan sat frozen, terrified to move. Her heartbeat thrummed against his ribs. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and something indefinably sweet, the scent he imagined all children carried, the one he'd missed for 5 years. He adjusted carefully, letting her settle more comfortably. Her hand curled into his shirt. Sleep dragged him under. Maya woke to grey dawn light and an empty bed. Panic jolted through her. She threw off the covers, stumbled into the hallway, stopped. Ethan sprawled on the couch, head tilted back, one arm wrapped protectively around Lily. Her daughter slept on his chest, rabbit tucked under her chin, peaceful in a way Maya hadn't seen since the nightmares started. Something fractured inside her ribcage. She stood there, watching them breathe in sync, and felt the careful walls she'd built crumbling. This man, this frustrating, wealthy, impossible man, had woken at 2 in the morning to comfort their daughter, had given her the honesty she needed instead of empty promises. Maya pressed her knuckles to her mouth, vision blurring. In the kitchen, she started coffee with shaking hands. The machine gurgled and hissed. Behind her, fabric rustled. "Maya?" She turned. Ethan blinked at her, sleep rumpled and disoriented, careful not to disturb Lily. Maya crossed to him, knelt beside the couch, brushed hair from their daughter's forehead. "Thank you," she whispered. Maya brewed coffee while the smoke alarm screamed. "I got it." Ethan waved a dish towel under the detector, standing on a kitchen chair in his rumpled dress shirt from yesterday. Pancake batter streaked his collar. Lily doubled over, giggling at the table, syrup already sticky on her fingers. Daddy E burned them again. "They're not burned. They're—" He glanced at the blackened discs on the griddle. "Okay, they're burned." Maya flipped the breaker, silencing the alarm. "Maybe stick to cereal." "Absolutely not." Ethan hopped down, determined. "I'm mastering pancakes if it kills me." By the fourth batch, he'd achieved something edible. They ate together at Maya's cramped table, Lily narrating a complicated story about dinosaurs, while Ethan tried to follow along, asking questions that made her light up. Maya watched them, something warm and terrifying blooming behind her sternum. The days blurred together after that. Ethan appeared at Lily's preschool 3 afternoons a week, waiting with the other parents, learning names and small-talk rhythms. He sat through a parent-teacher conference, nodding seriously while Miss Patricia explained Lily's reading progress. He learned bedtime routines, the specific order of toothbrushing, pajamas, 3 stories, never 2, always 3, the nightlight position just so. "Good night, Lilybug," he'd murmur, tucking her blanket around her shoulders. "Night." "Daddy E." Maya stood in the hallway the first time she heard it, hand pressed to her mouth. Mid-November arrived cold and damp. Ethan kept showing up. No missed visits, no last-minute cancellations, no excuses. He sat cross-legged on the living room floor building elaborate block towers that Lily demolished with gleeful dinosaur roars. He learned to braid hair badly, but he tried. He stocked his car with juice boxes and goldfish crackers. Maya felt her guard lowering, inch by terrifying inch. One Thursday evening, after Lily fell asleep mid-story, they sat at the kitchen table over chamomile tea. Ethan's sleeves were rolled up, exhaustion softening the sharp angles of his face. "I didn't think you'd actually stay." The admission slipped out before Maya could stop it. Ethan looked up, something raw, flickering across his expression. "I'm not going anywhere." "People say that." "I know." He reached across the table, stopped just short of touching her hand. "But I mean it. This, you two, you're what I've been missing. I just didn't know it until I saw you walk into that ballroom." Maya's throat tightened. She let herself believe him, just for a moment. Vanessa Crane sat in her Pacific Heights study, scrolling through the surveillance photos her assistant had compiled. Not malicious surveillance, just the public record. Ethan at the preschool gates, crouched beside Lily, tying her shoe. Ethan and Maya at the Oakland Library, Lily between them clutching a stack of picture books. Ethan pushing Lily on a swing, both of them laughing. Her son looked happy. Actually happy, in a way his engagement photos never captured. She set down her phone and stared at the family portrait on her desk herself. Her late husband, 10-year-old Ethan, before everything hardened. "Tuesday afternoon," she called him. "I'd like to meet her, properly." Silence stretched across the line. "Lily," Vanessa clarified, something almost vulnerable entering her voice. "My granddaughter. I'll ask Maya." "Of course." When Ethan relayed the request that evening, Maya surprised herself. "She's Lily's grandmother. It's only fair." They set it for the following Saturday. Friday night, Ethan's voice carried nervous energy over the phone. "Why don't you both come here? Spend the weekend. My mother's scheduled for 2 o'clock Saturday, but we'd have the morning. Lily could see the house, the yard, there's a tire swing." Maya hesitated, weighing risk against the tentative hope taking root in her chest. "Please," Ethan added quietly. "Okay." Saturday morning arrived clear and cold. Maya packed an overnight bag, stomach fluttering. Lily bounced in her car seat the entire drive across the Bay Bridge, pressing her face to the window as they wound through Sausalito's hills. Ethan's estate materialized through the trees, all glass and redwood, and impossible views. Lily's mouth fell open. "Mommy, is this a castle?" Maya killed the engine, staring at the sprawling house she'd only seen in Forbes spreads. Ethan appeared in the doorway, smiling, hands shoved in his pockets. She took a breath, opened her door. They stepped inside together, ipped out before Maya could stop it. Ethan set his mug down carefully. "I know. Everyone leaves." She traced the rim of her cup. "My dad died. My mum moved away. You—" "I was an idiot," his voice roughened. "A coward who didn't know what he had." The silence stretched. Maya's chest ached. "I'm here now." Ethan said. I'm not going anywhere. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. Saturday morning, Lily pressed her nose to the car window as they wound up the hill toward Ethan's estate. The bay glittered below, sailboats dotting the water like scattered confetti. Is this a castle? Lily breathed when the house came into view. Close enough. Ethan grinned, pulling into the circular drive. Inside, Lily raced from room to room, squealing. She claimed a guest bedroom with a canopy bed draped in gauzy white fabric, spinning in circles. This one's mine. Maya met Ethan's eyes. He shrugged, happiness written across his face. Done. They spent the day like people who belonged together. Swimming in the heated pool, Lily shrieking as Ethan tossed her into the air, making sandwiches in the enormous kitchen, arguing over the proper ratio of peanut butter to jelly, wandering through the terraced garden where Lily picked wildflowers, presenting them to Maya like precious gems. The sun dropped toward the horizon, painting everything gold. They cooked spaghetti together, Ethan handling the sauce while Maya boiled pasta, and Lily arranged napkins with solemn concentration. After dinner, they sprawled across the sectional for a movie. Lily lasted 20 minutes before her eyes drifted shut, head pillowed on Maya's lap. Ethan lifted her carefully, her small body limp with sleep. Maya followed him upstairs, watching as he tucked Lily beneath the canopy, smoothing her curls back from her forehead. Sweet dreams, Lilybug, he whispered. Downstairs, Maya stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. Lights twinkled across the water. The night felt suspended, fragile as spun glass. Ethan's reflection appeared beside hers. He stood close enough that she felt his warmth. This feels like a dream, she whispered. He turned her gently to face him. Then don't wake up. The kiss stole her breath, soft at first, hesitant, then deeper. 6 years collapsed between them all, the longing and loss and what-ifs burning away until only this remained. Maya trembled when they broke apart. I'm scared. Me too. His forehead rested against hers. They moved to the couch, tucked into opposite corners but turned toward each other. The conversation spilled out raw and necessary. I'm terrified of failing her, Ethan admitted. Of not being enough. You won't. You don't know that. His hands twisted together. What if I mess up? What if you will mess up? Maya's voice gentled. That's not the question. The question is whether you'll stay anyway. Ethan swallowed hard. Maya pulled her knees to her chest. I'm scared you'll wake up one day and realize you don't actually want this life. That we're, what? Not worth the trouble, Maya. He crossed the space between them, taking her hands. This is the only thing I've ever built that actually matters. They talked until the moon climbed high, unraveling fears and stitching together something new. Sunday morning, Lily burst into Ethan's bedroom where he and Maya had fallen asleep talking, still fully clothed on top of the covers. Look, she waved a paper covered in crayon. I made us. The drawing showed 3 stick figures, a woman with dark curls, a small girl with pigtails, and a tall man. Above them, she'd printed in wobbly letters, My Forever Family. Ethan's throat closed. Maya's hand found his. It's perfect, he managed. Can we put it on the fridge? Lily bounced. Better. Ethan lifted her onto his hip. I'm hanging it in my office. That afternoon, they stood in the kitchen making cookies when footsteps echoed in the hallway. Vanessa Crane appeared in the doorway, designer luggage visible behind her. She'd returned early from her trip. She stopped, taking in the scene. Flower handprints on Ethan's shirt, chocolate chips scattered across the counter, Maya laughing as Lily licked batter from a spoon. Something shifted in Vanessa's face, surprise melting into something softer. Lily waved, grinning. Hi, want a cookie? Years melted away. His hands framed her face, and Maya trembled. I'm scared, she breathed against his mouth. Me too. They sank onto the sofa, talked until the bay turned black and stars pricked the sky. Ethan admitted he woke some nights terrified he'd fail Lily, that he'd prove himself the useless father he feared becoming. Maya confessed she was scared he'd wake up one morning and realize he didn't want the chaos, the ordinary life, the woman who came with complications instead of connections. Ethan laced their fingers together. This is the only thing I've ever built that actually matters. Her throat closed. She kissed him again, let herself believe. Sunday morning, Lily burst into Ethan's bedroom at 7, jolting them both upright. She climbed between them, giggling, announcing she was starving and wanted pancakes shaped like dinosaurs. After breakfast, misshapen pancakes that barely resembled reptiles, Lily sprawled on the floor with crayons and construction paper. Maya cleaned up while Ethan answered emails, the domestic rhythm settling around them like a well-worn quilt. An hour later, Lily presented her masterpiece. 3 stick figures stood beneath a lopsided house, labels in careful block letters, Mommy, Daddy E, Lily. Above them, My Forever Family. Ethan's vision blurred. He crouched beside her. Can I keep this? For your office, Lily said seriously. So you remember. Maya's eyes stung. Ethan pulled them both into a hug, and for a heartbeat, everything was perfect. The front door opened with a decisive click. Vanessa's heels echoed through the foyer. She appeared in the kitchen doorway, perfectly composed in cream linen, surveying the scene. Flour dusting the counters, crayons scattered across the table, the 3 of them tangled together. Her expression flickered something unreadable passing across her face. Lily waved, oblivious. Hi, want a cookie? Vanessa's gaze lingered on her granddaughter. Perhaps another time. The air thickened. Maya straightened, instinct prickling. Ethan, Vanessa's voice could cut glass. We need to talk. Privately. Maya gathered Lily's crayons, pulse hammering. We should go. Maya, Ethan started. It's fine. She forced a smile. We've got homework anyway. Lily clutched her mother's hand as they collected their overnight bag. She looked up, worried. Did I do something wrong? Maya's heart shattered. She knelt, cupping Lily's face. No, baby, you're perfect. In the car, Lily was silent, staring out the window. Maya gripped the steering wheel, dread pooling in her stomach. Ethan closed the study door. Vanessa stood by the window, spine rigid. What are you doing? Her words sliced the quiet. Playing house with a woman you barely know? She's my daughter. His voice came out steel. And the mother. Vanessa turned. What happens when this fantasy falls apart? When that woman realizes she can get more in court than playing happy family? Heat flooded Ethan's chest. Her name is Maya. You investigated her yourself and found nothing. Vanessa's mask cracked, just slightly. I'm trying to protect you. From what? He threw his hands up. From being happy? From having an actual family instead of... He gestured at the mansion around them. This museum? What if this is what I've been missing my whole life? Silence hung between them. Vanessa's expression hardened. If you won't listen to reason, I'll petition for grandparents' rights. Establish access to Lily independent of her mother's whims. Ethan stared at her. Betrayal tasted like copper. You'd do that? To protect my granddaughter from instability? Yes. Vanessa collected her purse. She'll never be enough for this world. Ethan. The scrutiny, the pressure, the expectations. She paused at the door. Deep down, you know it. The door clicked shut. Ethan collapsed into his chair, Lily's drawing still clutched in his hand. My forever family stared back at him. Vanessa's words burrowed deep. He grabbed his phone and keys. Maya had just gotten Lily settled with a snack when the knock came. She opened the door to find Ethan, wild-eyed and disheveled. I can't do this. Sunday evening, Maya opened the door expecting an apology. Instead, she found Ethan pale and wild-eyed, his chest heaving like he'd sprinted up 4 flights. I can't do this. The words landed like stones. Maya blinked. Can't do what? This, he gestured vaguely between them. At the apartment, at everything. Us. It's moving too fast. I'm dragging you into a circus. Her face hardened. All the softness from last night crystallizing into something brittle. So you're running. No, I just... He raked his hands through his hair. My mother's threatening legal action. The press is camped outside my office, and you're about to get destroyed by association. I need to protect you. Protect me, her voice climbed. You think leaving protects me? Maya, I need you to decide if you're in or out. She crossed her arms, nails digging into her elbows. If you're going to leave, do it now, before you break her heart. Ethan's throat worked. The silence stretched, electric and awful. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out his checkbook. Let me set up a trust fund for Lily. Make sure she's taken care of, that you don't have to... Maya slapped it from his hand. The checkbook hit the floor, pages splaying open like broken wings. Get out. Wait, I didn't mean... Out! She yanked the door wide, her whole body shaking. Leave, and don't come back. Maya, please, leave. He stood frozen, staring at her like a man watching his life collapse in real time. Then he walked through the door. Maya slammed it so hard the frame rattled. She sank to the floor, pressed her forehead to her knees, and sobbed. Great tearing sounds she muffled against denim so Lily wouldn't hear from the bedroom. Her phone buzzed Corinne. Maya didn't answer. 20 minutes later, Corinne used her spare key and found Maya still crumpled against the door. She knelt and pulled her best friend into her arms without a word. Monday morning, Maya woke to 17 missed calls. The first article appeared at 6:47 a.m. Billionaire's baby mama, gold digger or victim. The piece claimed Maya had a history of targeting wealthy men at charity events. Cited unnamed sources who remembered her circling donors at galas, cultivating relationships. The implication dripped from every paragraph calculated, opportunistic, trap, all lies. By noon, 3 clients had cancelled contracts. The emails arrived minutes apart, polite and devastating. Given recent media attention, decided to go in another direction. I wish you the best. Tuesday evening, Maya sat at her kitchen table surrounded by bills. Calculator, bank statements, red pen. She ran the numbers twice, hoping she'd miscounted. 2 months, maybe less. She could make it 2 months before rent became impossible. Lily was at Corinne's for a sleepover, blessedly unaware that her world was crumbling again. Maya scrolled through job listings, administrative assistant, receptionist, anything full-time with benefits. Her throat burned. She'd worked so hard to build the freelance life that let her stay home with Lily, to escape the fluorescent-lit cubicles and commutes and bosses who didn't care if she had a sick kid. Now she'd crawl back, grateful for scraps. Her phone buzzed. Text from Ethan. I saw the article. I'm so sorry. Please let me help. Maya stared at the screen. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. She could type 4 words, I need the money, and fix everything. She deleted the message instead, blocked his number. Then she returned to the job listings, vision blurring, and clicked Apply. Wednesday morning, Corinne Baptiste walked past the marble reception desk at Crane Technologies like she owned the building. The security guard called after her. She kept moving. Ma'am, you can't. Watch me. She dressed for battle, sharp blazer, heels that clicked against polished floors like gunshots. The elevator couldn't climb fast enough. 32nd floor, executive suites. A receptionist stood, already dialing someone. Corinne pushed through the frosted glass doors of the main conference room. Ethan sat at the head of a massive table, surrounded by suits and open laptops. He looked up, startled. Dark circles ringed his eyes. Good. Everyone out, Corinne said. Excuse me? One of the suits, a middle-aged white man in pinstripes, half rose from his chair. Out, now. Ethan lifted a hand. It's fine. We'll reconvene in 20. The team filed out, exchanging glances. The door clicked shut. Silence pressed down like a physical weight. Corinne dropped her purse on the table. Maya's lost half her income. Ethan flinched. 3 clients cancelled this week because of that tabloid garbage. She's too proud to ask anyone for help. Corinne moved closer, each word a blade. And Lily keeps asking when Daddy E is coming back. I was trying to protect them. By offering money and running? Her laugh was hollow. You're a coward, Ethan Crane. He stood, jaw tight. You don't understand the pressure. I understand perfectly. She pointed at his chest. Your mother threatens you, so you panic. You decide Maya's better off without the mess. Easier to write a check than do the actual work of showing up. His shoulders sagged. The fight drained from him. Corinne's voice softened, just slightly. Do you know what happened to Maya when she was 8? Ethan shook his head. Her father died. Heart attack. One day he was teaching her to ride a bike. The next, he was gone. She paused, letting that sink in. Her mother remarried when Maya was 20 and moved to Florida. They talk maybe 3 times a year. Christmas. Maya's birthday, if she remembers. Ethan sank back into his chair. She raised Lily completely alone. No family, no safety net. Just her and Corinne, and whatever freelance work she could scrape together. Corinne leaned on the table. Then you show up. You make her believe she doesn't have to do it alone anymore. You make Lily believe her daddy finally came home. I know, and you bolt at the first sign of trouble. She straightened. If you actually care about them, and I mean really care, not this performative billionaire charity nonsense, you stop trying to fix things from a distance. You show up. You be messy. You let her see you're not perfect, but you're committed. Ethan stared at Lily's crayon drawing, still framed on the credenza behind his desk. My forever family. What if I fail? Then you fail together. Corinne picked up her purse. That's what family does. She left him sitting there, 20 floors above the city, completely alone. An hour passed, then another. Ethan cancelled his afternoon meetings. He sat staring at the drawing until the colors blurred. Meanwhile, Maya hunched over her laptop at the kitchen table, finalizing a job application. Director of Development, citywide non-profit, stable salary, benefits, soul-crushing bureaucracy, and a commute that would mean less time with Lily. She clicked submit before she could second-guess herself. That evening, Lily wandered into the kitchen dragging her stuffed rabbit. When is Daddy E coming? Maya's throat closed. I don't know, baby. Did I do something bad? No. Maya pulled her close. You didn't do anything wrong. Lily's lip trembled. She retreated to her room. Through the thin walls, Maya heard the muffled sound of crying. She pressed her forehead against the table and tried not to break. Thursday morning, Maya's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Maya. It's Vanessa Crane. Maya's spine locked. The older woman's voice was different, quieter, stripped of its usual ice. I'd like to meet with you. Today. It's important. Why? Please, just give me an hour. Maya's instinct screamed trap. But something in Vanessa's tone, something almost vulnerable, made her hesitate. Where? Wherever you're comfortable. Maya named a cafe in Oakland, neutral ground. 2 o'clock. I'll be there, Vanessa said, and hung up. Maya stared at her phone, suspicion and curiosity warring in her chest. Maya raised Lily completely alone, Corinne continued. No family help, no safety net. Just her and a baby and grant-writing gigs that barely covered rent. Ethan dragged both hands through his hair. You showed up making her believe she didn't have to do it alone anymore. You made Lily believe she finally had a daddy. Corinne's voice turned sharp again. Then you bolted at the first sign of trouble. You thought wrong. She grabbed her purse. If you actually care about them, stop trying to fix things from a distance. Show up. Be messy. Let Maya see you're not perfect, but you're committed. She walked to the door, paused with her hand on the handle. That little girl drew you into her family portrait. Don't make her regret it. The door closed behind her. Ethan sat alone in the conference room for an hour. The city sprawled below, indifferent. His phone buzzed with emails he couldn't focus on. He pulled Lily's drawing from his briefcase, the one he'd framed but brought to work anyway. 3 stick figures, a house, hearts floating above their heads. He traced the word Daddy in purple crayon. Maya spent Wednesday night finalizing a job application. Non-profit director position, stable salary, health insurance, soul-crushing commute and committee meetings, and everything she'd fled when she went freelance. She clicked submit at 11:47 p.m. Thursday morning arrived grey and cold. Lily picked at her cereal. Can we call Daddy E? Maya's chest tightened. Not today, baby. Why not? Because he's gone. Because I let myself hope and got burned. Because I should have known better. He's very busy with work. Lily pushed her bowl away. She retreated to her room without arguing. Maya heard soft crying through the door. She stood in the kitchen, phone in hand. Ethan's last text glowed on the screen. I saw the article. I'm so sorry. Please let me help. Her thumb hovered over the reply button. She locked the screen instead. At 1:30 p.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost declined. Hello? Miss Collins, this is Vanessa Crane. Maya's grip tightened on the phone. I'd like to meet with you. Today, if possible. It's important. I don't think... Please. The word sounded foreign in Vanessa's crisp voice. 2 o'clock. There's a cafe on Telegraph Avenue near your apartment. Common grounds. Silence stretched. I have information about the tabloid article, Vanessa added, and I owe you an apology. Maya's pulse kicked up. Fine. 2 o'clock. Thursday, 2 p.m. Maya pushed through the cafe door. Vanessa sat at a corner table, posture rigid, hands folded. She wore a cream silk blouse and pearls. Every eye in the room tracked her. She stood when Maya approached, extended her hand. Maya shook it briefly. They sat. Thank you for coming, Vanessa signaled the barista. Coffee? Tea? I'm fine. Vanessa folded her hands again. I owe you an apology. Maya waited. The tabloid article, someone in my circle leaked information despite my explicit warnings. I traced the source and issued a cease and desist this morning. The publication will print a retraction tomorrow. Maya's breath caught. I also looked into your financial situation. The contracts you lost. Vanessa's jaw tightened. I realize now the damage I caused. I was wrong about you, Miss Collins. Maya. Vanessa's shoulders lowered slightly. You're the only person who's ever wanted my son for who he is, not what he has. Maya's throat burned. Vanessa slid a manila envelope across the table. Proof the story was fabricated, plus a formal apology letter I'll release publicly if you consent. Maya's hands shook as she opened it. Legal documents, screenshots of email chains, a typed letter on Crane Industries' letterhead acknowledging the false allegations and Vanessa's role in the investigation that led to them. Why are you doing this? Vanessa's mask cracked. Just for a moment. Because I saw him with your daughter. I saw the way he looked at her, the way my late husband used to look at Ethan. Her voice dropped. I've been so afraid of losing my son that I almost drove him away. She met Maya's eyes. Will you give him another chance? Not for him, for Lily. Maya's vision blurred. He broke my heart. Again. I know. Vanessa nodded slowly. But he's a fool, not a villain. And I think he's finally ready to fight for you. Maya clutched the envelope. She stood without another word and walked out. In her car, Maya read every document. Her hands steadied. She thought of Lily's tears, of Ethan whispering promises to their daughter through nightmares. She pulled out her phone, stared at his last text. Finally, she dialed. One ring. Maya, breathless, desperate. Her voice came out steady. We need to talk. Come to my apartment tonight, 7 o'clock. She hung up. Thursday, 6:45 p.m. Ethan stood outside Maya's apartment door, heart hammering against his ribs. The folder in his hands felt heavier than it should, legal documents transferring a substantial portion of his wealth into an irrevocable trust for Lily. No conditions. No strings. Not leverage. A guarantee. He knocked. Maya opened the door. Her face was unreadable, eyes shadowed. She'd been crying. Come in. He stepped inside. The apartment felt smaller than he remembered, or maybe he just took up too much space. She gestured to the couch. They sat at opposite ends, an ocean of beige cushion between them. Maya spoke first. Your mother came to see me. Ethan's head snapped up. What? She pulled an envelope from the coffee table, slid it across. He opened it with trembling fingers. Proof the tabloid story was fabricated. A formal apology letter on Crane Industries' letterhead. A promise to issue a public retraction. She met me at a cafe this afternoon. Maya's voice was steady, but her hands twisted in her lap. She apologized, said she was wrong about me, that she almost drove you away trying to protect you. Ethan stared at the documents. His mother's signature, bold, uncompromising, sat at the bottom of the apology. I didn't know she was going to... I know. Maya's eyes found his. She told me to give you another chance. For Lily. The silence stretched. Ethan set down his folder. I screwed up. Maya. The words came out raw. I was scared. Terrified, actually. Scared I'd fail Lily the way I've failed at every relationship I've ever had. Scared you'd wake up one day and realize I'm not good enough, that I'm just some workaholic who throws money at problems because I don't know how to actually fix anything. Maya's eyes glistened. I was scared my world would hurt you both. The paparazzi, the tabloids, my mother's expectations. So I did the stupidest thing possible. His voice cracked. I tried to push you away before you could leave me. A tear slipped down Maya's cheek. But this last week without you has been hell. I can't eat, can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see Lily on that couch asking if I'd stay. He dragged a hand across his face. I told her I would, and then I ran like a coward. Ethan, let me finish, please. He pulled the folder into his lap. I don't know how to be a dad. I don't know how to be a partner. My father died when I was 10, and my mother taught me that emotions were weaknesses and business was everything. He looked at her. But I want to learn. I want to show up every single day, not because it's easy, but because you and Lily are the best thing that's ever happened to me. He slid the folder across. This isn't a bribe, it's a promise. Lily's future is secure no matter what happens between us. Whether you forgive me or not, whether we're together or not, she's taken care of. Maya opened it. Her eyes scanned the trust documents, the irrevocable transfer, the amount that made her breath catch. She pushed it back. I don't want your money, Ethan. His face fell. The hope that had been building crumbled. Maya stood. She took his hands and pulled him to his feet. "I want you." Her voice was fierce now, hands gripping his. "But I need to know you're all in. No more running when things get hard. No more throwing cash at problems instead of being present. We're a team, or we're nothing." Relief crashed over him. He pulled her into his arms, buried his face in her hair. "I'm all in. I swear to God, Maya, I'm all in." She tilted her head back. Their lips met desperate, hungry. 6 years of longing poured into one kiss. The door burst open. Oh, thank God. Corinne stood in the doorway, Lily's hand in hers. The little girl peeked around her legs. "Daddy E." She ran. Ethan dropped to his knees and caught her, lifting her into his arms. Maya wrapped around them both. The three held each other, a tangle of arms and tears and laughter. Corinne leaned against the doorframe, wiping her eyes. Finally, Friday morning, 1 week later, Maya woke to her phone buzzing on the nightstand. She fumbled for it, squinting at the screen. A photo filled the display. Ethan crouched beside Lily backstage at her preschool, both grinning at the camera. Lily wore a construction paper, turkey costume, complete with tail feathers that stuck out at wild angles. Ethan had a smudge of brown face paint on his cheek. The caption read, "She insisted I come. No regrets." Maya's chest tightened. She screenshot it, sent it to Corinne with 3 heart emojis. Over the next 2 weeks, Ethan dismantled the life he'd built brick by careful brick. He hired a new CEO for his tech company, a brilliant woman he'd been mentoring for years, and shifted himself to chairman. Fewer board meetings, no more 80-hour weeks. Flexibility, freedom. They established routines that felt sacred in their simplicity. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Ethan picked Lily up from preschool. They'd go to the park or the library, or just walk around Lake Merritt feeding ducks stale bread. Saturdays belonged to all 3 of them. Pancakes, errands, playgrounds, the aquarium. Sundays, Maya got time to herself while Ethan took Lily on daddy-daughter adventures that usually involved ice cream and too much sugar. Mid-November, Vanessa released a public statement through her lawyers. The tabloid article was fabricated. She had proof. Legal action would follow if retractions weren't issued immediately. The media narrative flipped overnight. Suddenly, it was a heartwarming family reunion. Story: billionaire finds daughter, changes priorities, repairs broken relationships. Maya's phone rang with apologetic calls from the clients who'd dropped her. New ones followed. The dinner invitation came via handwritten note, delivered by courier. Vanessa's penthouse, 7 o'clock, please bring Lily. V. Maya's stomach twisted when she read it. "We don't have to go," Ethan said quietly. But Maya thought of Vanessa's shaking hands in the cafe, the crack in her voice when she'd said I almost drove him away. "Yes, we do." The evening was stilted at first. Vanessa's penthouse was all white marble and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. Lily whispered, "It's so shiny," and clung to Maya's leg. Dinner was catered nothing a 5-year-old would touch. Lily picked at roasted vegetables while the adults made careful conversation. Then Lily spotted the bookshelf in Vanessa's study. She tugged on the older woman's sleeve. "Do you have any stories?" Vanessa blinked. Yes. I believe so." She pulled down a worn copy of Where the Wild Things Are Ethan's from childhood, margins filled with his mother's penciled notes. They settled on the couch, Lily between them. Vanessa began reading. Her voice was flat, uncertain. She stumbled over the rhythm. Lily frowned. "You have to do the voices, Grandma." Vanessa froze. The word hung in the air, Grandma fragile and new. Her breath caught. She looked at Maya, who nodded once. Vanessa cleared her throat and tried again. This time she growled for the wild things, squeaked for Max's dog, roared when the rumpus started. Lily giggled, bouncing on the cushions. By the final page, Lily had curled into Vanessa's side, eyelids drooping. The older woman's arm came around her tentatively, then tightened. She finished the story in a whisper. Ethan and Maya watched from the doorway. Vanessa looked up, eyes bright with unshed tears. "Thank you," she mouthed. "Thank you for letting me be part of this." Late November, the week before Thanksgiving. They drove through Oakland Hills in Ethan's car, the practical SUV he'd bought specifically for car seats and grocery runs. Lily sang made-up songs in the back, while Maya scrolled through real estate listings on her phone. "This one," she said, pointing. The craftsman sat on a tree-lined street, all wide front porch and original wood siding. The backyard stretched deep and wild, an old oak tree dominating the center. Sunlight poured through bay windows into rooms that felt lived in, loved. Lily raced straight for the oak tree. Perfect for a swing. Ethan caught Maya's hand. This one? She looked at the house, their house, maybe, and imagined mornings on that porch. Lily's laughter echoing through those rooms. A life built together in walls that weren't his or hers but theirs. This one. They made the offer that afternoon. Thanksgiving morning arrived grey and cold, fog pressing against Maya's apartment windows. She'd been awake since 5, wrestling a turkey into the oven while Lily slept curled under blankets on the couch. The knock came at 6:30. Maya opened the door to find Ethan holding 2 grocery bags and wearing an apron that read, "Kiss the cook." "Corinne bought it for me," he said sheepishly. "Said if I'm going to do this, I need the uniform." Maya laughed, pulling him inside. The apartment smelled like butter and herbs. Ethan set the bags on the counter, ingredients for stuffing, potatoes, 3 different types of pie because he couldn't decide. "You didn't have to. I wanted to." He glanced toward the couch where Lily was stirring. "First Thanksgiving as a family. I'm not showing up empty-handed." Lily appeared in the kitchen doorway, rubbing her eyes, hair sticking up in every direction. She spotted Ethan and broke into a grin. "Daddy E, you're early. Had to beat the rush." He scooped her up, kissed her forehead. "What's my assignment?" "Chef?" Lily took her role seriously. She pointed at the potatoes. "You're on those. Mommy says you have to peel them first." "I can do that." What followed was beautiful chaos. Ethan had never peeled a potato in his life. The first 3 came out looking like misshapen golf balls. Maya showed him how to hold the peeler, her hand guiding his. Lily stood on a step stool supervising, which mostly involved stealing marshmallows meant for the sweet potatoes. Flour dusted the counters, the floor, somehow, Ethan's hair. The rolls burned because no one heard the timer over Lily's off-key rendition of Jingle Bells Thanksgiving songs apparently weren't exciting enough. Maya salvaged them by cutting off the charred bottoms. Corinne arrived at noon with wine and a massive pan of mac and cheese. She took one look at the kitchen disaster and cackled. "Y'all need supervision." The door knocked again at 1. Maya opened it to find Vanessa on the threshold, clutching a store-bought pumpkin pie like a shield. She wore slacks and a sweater, no pearls, no designer heels, almost casual. "I wasn't sure what to bring," Vanessa said quietly. Before Maya could respond, Lily barreled past her. "Grandma, you came." She grabbed Vanessa's free hand. "I made you a place card. It has glitter." Vanessa's expression softened. "Did you? Come see." They sat at Maya's tiny kitchen table, mismatched chairs borrowed from Corinne, plates that didn't match, serving dishes in various states of wear. The table was too small. Knees bumped. Ethan had to angle his chair sideways. It was perfect. Ethan stood, raising his water glass. "To family, the ones we're born with, and the ones we choose." Glasses clinked. Lily bounced in her seat. "My turn." She cleared her throat dramatically. "I'm thankful for Mommy, Daddy E, Grandma, and Auntie Corinne." She paused. "And mashed potatoes." Laughter rippled around the table. Vanessa dabbed at her eyes with a napkin. After the meal, Ethan and Maya tackled the mountain of dishes, while Corinne entertained Lily with a board game in the living room. Vanessa hovered awkwardly before Corinne pulled her into play. Ethan stood elbow deep in soapy water, scrubbing a roasting pan. "I never thought I'd have this." Maya bumped his hip with hers. "Better late than never." "You know what's wild?" He rinsed a plate, handed it to her. "A year ago, I would have been at some stuffy charity dinner right now, networking, pretending to care about speeches, and now you're doing dishes in my cramped kitchen. Best Thanksgiving of my life." Later, after Corinne and Vanessa left, Vanessa hugging Lily goodbye, whispering, "Thank you for my place card." The 3 of them collapsed on the couch, Lily wedged between her parents, fighting sleep. "Tell me a story," she mumbled. Ethan started one about a princess and a dragon. Lily was asleep before he finished the second sentence. Maya met his eyes over their daughter's head. Ethan's voice dropped low. "Move in with me." Her breath caught. "What?" "Not the estate. The new house. Let's start fresh. As a family." His hand found hers. "I know it's fast, but we've already lost so much time. I don't want to waste another day living separately." Maya's heart hammered. Outside, streetlights flickered on, casting Oakland in amber glow. Inside, Lily's breathing evened out, her small hand clutching Maya's sleeve. "Are you sure?" Ethan nodded. "I've never been more sure of anything." Maya took a shaky breath. Thought of all the years alone, all the nights wondering if she'd made the right choice. Looked at this man who'd shown up, who'd learned to peel potatoes and do voices during story time and be present. Yes, he kissed her forehead. They sat in comfortable silence, watching Lily sleep. For the first time in 6 years, Maya felt it. Safe, loved, home. Monday morning arrived cold and sharp. The first week of December bringing wind that rattled the windows of Ethan's downtown office. He sat at the head of the conference table, 16 board members studying him like a specimen under glass. Gerald Hutchins, silver-haired and perpetually skeptical, leaned back in his chair. What we need is clarity, Ethan. This leadership transition, you're asking us to trust a CEO you hired 3 weeks ago while you step into a chairman role that frankly looks like semi-retirement. It's a strategic shift, Ethan said evenly. Marcus has 20 years of operational experience. I'm focusing on long-term vision and growth opportunities. You're focusing on playing house. Gerald's voice cut across the table. The Gala scandal, the tabloids, walking out of investor dinners. I walked out once. Once is enough when you're managing shareholder expectations. Claire Portman, a venture capitalist with 3 kids and the only board member who'd stood up for him at the Gala, intervened. Gerald, we've seen the Q4 projections. Revenue is up 18%. Stock price is stable. What exactly is the problem? Gerald opened his mouth to respond. Ethan's phone buzzed against the table. He glanced at the screen. Maya. He silenced it. 30 seconds later, it buzzed again. Gerald's eyebrow arched. Do you need to take that? No. Continue. The door cracked open. Jennifer, his assistant, slipped inside, her face tight with urgency. She crossed to Ethan, bent low. It's an emergency, she whispered. Maya called the front desk when you didn't answer. Ethan's stomach dropped. He stood, phone already in hand, walking toward the door as he dialed. Maya answered on the first ring, her voice shaking. Lily fell on the playground, hit her head on the slide. The teachers said she was confused, couldn't remember what happened. The preschool wants me to take her to the ER, but I'm stuck in traffic on the Bay Bridge. There was an accident. I can't. Which hospital? Oakland Children's. But Ethan, I don't know how long. I'm 10 minutes away. I'll meet you there. Are you sure? I know you had. Maya. His voice steadied. I'm already walking to my car. He ended the call, turned back to the boardroom. 16 faces watched him. He grabbed his jacket from the chair. I have to leave. Family emergency. Gerald's laugh was sharp. This is exactly what we were worried about. You can't just walk out of a board meeting because my 5-year-old daughter is in an ambulance. Ethan's voice didn't rise, but every word landed like steel. So yes, Gerald, I can. This is unacceptable. We're discussing the future of a billion-dollar company. Then discuss it. Ethan met his gaze, calm and unflinching. Vote me out if you want, but right now, I'm leaving. He turned toward the door. Claire stood, closing her portfolio. Go. We'll table this. Ethan didn't wait for Gerald's response. The ER waiting room smelled like antiseptic and burnt coffee. Maya sat hunched in a plastic chair, mascara streaked down her cheeks, phone clutched in both hands. She looked up when the automatic doors slid open. Ethan. He crossed the room in 4 strides, pulled her into his arms. She collapsed against him, shaking. They took her back 10 minutes ago. I got here right after the ambulance. She kept asking for you. I'm here. A nurse appeared in scrubs. Colin's family. They followed her through swinging doors into a curtained bay. Lily lay on a gurney that swallowed her small frame, an ice pack pressed to her temple, eyes glassy. Daddy E, she mumbled. Ethan took her hand, kissed her knuckles. Hey, Lilybug, heard you had an adventure. The slide was slippery. I don't remember falling. The doctor arrived, young and brisk, flipping through a tablet. Mild concussion. No skull fracture. No bleeding. She'll need observation for the next 24 hours. Watch for vomiting, dizziness, confusion. Wake her every few hours tonight. She should be fine, but call if anything changes. Ethan nodded, absorbing every word. Maya asked questions, voice still unsteady. The doctor answered patiently, then left them. Hours dissolved. Discharge paperwork, wheelchair ride to the parking lot. Lily dozed in Ethan's arms while Maya drove them back to her apartment. Inside, Ethan carried Lily to bed, tucked the blankets around her, kissed her forehead. I'm not going anywhere, Lilybug, he whispered. Her eyes fluttered open. Promise? Promise. She smiled, already drifting. In the living room, Maya stood by the window, arms wrapped around herself. Ethan's phone sat on the coffee table, screen lit with notifications, 43 texts, 12 missed calls. "What about your meeting?" she asked quietly. Ethan shrugged, sinking onto the couch. "They'll survive, or they won't. Either way, I made the right choice." Maya turned, studied his face. No regret, no hesitation. She crossed the room, sat beside him, took his hand. "I love you." The words hung between them, fragile and enormous. Ethan's breath caught. 6 years of silence, of running, of fear, all of it dissolved. "I love you too." His voice broke. "I never stopped." Maya kissed him, tasting salt and relief, and the beginning of forever. Tuesday morning, Ethan walked into the boardroom at 9 sharp. The atmosphere hit him before he crossed the threshold. Stone faces, crossed arms, the particular stillness that preceded a coup. Gerald stood. "Thank you for coming, Ethan. We've taken a vote." Ethan set his briefcase down, remained standing, waited. "Given yesterday's incident and your repeated prioritization of personal matters over fiduciary responsibility, the board has removed you as chairman, pending a 90-day review of your commitment to this company." The words should have landed like a punch. Instead, Ethan felt something unexpected bloom in his chest, lightness, relief. He looked around the table at faces he'd known for years, people he'd made wealthy, whose respect he'd once craved more than air. He smiled. Gerald blinked, thrown off his script. "This isn't a joke, Ethan." "I know." Ethan picked up his briefcase. "I quit." The room erupted, voices overlapping, chairs scraping, someone's coffee cup hitting the floor. Ethan raised a hand. The chaos subsided. "Let me be clear. I'm stepping down fully. I'll remain a major shareholder. You can't vote me out of that, and I'm available for consulting if Marcus needs it. But I'm done running my life like a corporate merger." Gerald sputtered. "This is incredibly irresponsible." "Is it?" Ethan's voice stayed calm. "I built this company from nothing, made all of you very rich. I've spent 15 years sacrificing everything for growth, projections, and market share. And you know what I realized yesterday, sitting in that ER holding my daughter's hand?" No one answered. "I already won. Not here, not in this room. Out there." He gestured toward the window. "With them, my family." Claire Martinez, who'd stood up for him yesterday, grinned. "Good for you, Ethan." He nodded to her, then looked at Gerald. "I'm not abandoning the company. I'm just choosing to be a human being instead of a profit machine. If that makes me irresponsible, I'll live with it." He walked out before anyone could respond. The elevator ride down felt like shedding armor, piece by piece. By the time he reached his car, his chest felt so light he laughed out loud. He drove straight to Maya's apartment, didn't call ahead, just knocked. She opened the door in yoga pants and an old sweatshirt, laptop balanced on the kitchen table behind her. Lily sat cross-legged on the floor, tongue between her teeth as she colored. Maya's eyes widened. "You're supposed to be in a meeting. I quit my job." Her pen clattered to the floor. Ethan stepped inside, closed the door. "The board voted to remove me as chairman, so I quit entirely." "You what?" She stared at him like he'd announced he was joining the circus. He explained quickly. The vote, his decision, his relief. Watched her face cycle through shock to concern to something that looked like understanding. "Are you okay?" she whispered. He laughed, the sound echoing through her tiny living room. "I'm better than okay. Maya, I'm free." She searched his face, looking for cracks, for the panic that should be there. Found only light. "You're serious?" "Completely." He took her hands. "I spent 15 years building an empire, and it nearly killed everything that actually matters." Lily looked up from her coloring. "Daddy E, why are you home?" "It's Tuesday." "Because I wanted to see you." He crouched beside her. "Is that okay?" She threw her arms around his neck. That afternoon, Ethan pulled out his phone, opened Instagram, an account he'd maintained professionally but never used personally. He scrolled to a photo from last Saturday, him pushing Lily on a swing while Maya laughed in the background. All three caught mid-joy. His thumb hovered. Then he typed, 6 years ago, I made the worst mistake of my life. I let fear and pride cost me the woman I loved. Today, I'm grateful for second chances. Maya and Lily, you are my everything." He tagged Maya. She'd given permission weeks ago, after the tabloid mess, saying she was done hiding. Posted, The notifications started immediately. Hundreds, thousands. The narrative shifted in real time, from scandal to redemption, from billionaire playboy to devoted father. He turned his phone face down. Didn't care. That night, they cooked spaghetti in Maya's kitchen, the three of them bumping elbows, Lily standing on a chair to stir sauce, Maya's hand finding his lower back every time she passed. "Daddy E," Lily said suddenly, sauce spoon dripping onto the counter. "Are you going to live with us forever?" Ethan knelt, met her eyes. "If your mom says yes, I'd love to." Lily whirled to Maya, eyes enormous and pleading. Maya grinned. "I already said yes, remember? We're moving into the new house together." Lily shrieked, launched herself at Ethan, then Maya, then grabbed both their hands and spun them in a circle. They danced around the cramped kitchen, laughing, sauce burning forgotten on the stove, smoke alarm starting its familiar wail. Perfect chaos. Ethan caught Maya's eye over Lily's head and mouthed, "I love you." She mouthed it back. Outside, the city hummed. Inside, they were home. Early December. The Craftsman house in Oakland Hills stood waiting, keys finally in Maya's trembling hand. The moving truck rumbled up the driveway at 8 in the morning, exhaust clouding the crisp air. Lily bolted from Ethan's car before he'd fully parked, her sneakers slapping against the porch steps. "Can I go in? Can I see?" Maya unlocked the door. Lily exploded through the threshold, her shriek of joy ricocheting off bare walls. "This is my room," her voice echoed from upstairs. "This is the bathroom. This is—" A pause. "Mummy, come look." Maya found her daughter pressed against the window of the master bedroom, hands and nose flat against glass. Below, the bay sparkled in morning light. The Golden Gate Bridge, a rust-colored slash through fog. "It's magic," Lily whispered. Ethan appeared in the doorway, hauling a box labeled Lily Toys. "Wait until you see the backyard. I ordered something special for that tree. A swing." Lily's entire face lit up. "Maybe." She launched herself at him. He caught her with one arm, the box balanced on his hip. "Careful, Lilybug. Fragile." "You're not fragile, Daddy E. You're strong." His throat worked. Maya watched him blink rapidly, adjusting his grip. "Down you go. Help me bring in the small stuff." The morning disappeared into controlled chaos. Furniture scraped across hardwood, boxes accumulated in wrong rooms, were dragged to correct ones. Lily insisted on unpacking her own clothes, which resulted in everything shoved into the bottom drawer regardless of season or type. Around noon, Corinne's Honda pulled up, her trunk loaded with pizza boxes and a six-pack. "Housewarming." She hip-checked the front door open, arms full. "Where do you want the Jesus? This place is gorgeous." Kitchen straight back. Maya grabbed the beer before it slid from the stack. They ate standing up, paper plates balanced on moving boxes. Lily dangled her legs from the kitchen counter, marinara on her chin. The doorbell rang at 2. Maya opened it to find Vanessa Crane on her porch, holding a silver-wrapped package. "I won't stay." Vanessa's voice carried its old formality, but her eyes were softer. "I wanted to bring this by." Inside was a professional print of the Thanksgiving photo, all of them at the too-small table, Lily mid-laugh, Ethan's hand on Maya's shoulder, Vanessa smiling beside Corinne. "Museum-quality frame, museum-quality moment." "Vanessa," Maya's voice cracked. "This is—" "You're welcome." Vanessa cleared her throat. "The house looks lovely. Lily must be thrilled." "Grandma." Lily barreled into view, threw her arms around Vanessa's waist. "Come see my room. I have stars on the ceiling." Vanessa's hand found Lily's hair, stroked once. "Perhaps next time, darling. I have a meeting." She bent, kissed Lily's forehead. "But I expect a full tour soon." She left before Maya could thank her properly. Ethan found the frame propped against the fireplace mantel. He stared at it for a long moment, then lifted Lily's drawing from a nearby box. The crayon family portrait went up first, centered. The photograph went beside it. By evening, the house resembled something lived in. Mismatched furniture, boxes still stacked in corners, but warm. Theirs. Lily fell asleep in her new canopy bed at 7:30, glow in the dark stars overhead, stuffed rabbit tucked under her chin. Maya stood in the doorway watching her daughter's chest rise and fall, Ethan's presence solid behind her. "She's out," Maya whispered. Long day. They migrated to the back porch, settling onto the swing Ethan had installed that afternoon. Below, Oakland's lights began their nightly bloom, the bay beyond darkening to ink. Ethan shifted, Something clicked in his pocket. Maya's heart kicked. He pulled out a small velvet box, held it without opening. I know we just moved in. I know this is fast, or maybe it's 6 years too slow. I can't tell anymore. She couldn't breathe. The box opened. A ring caught moonlight, simple band, single diamond, elegant and understated. I'm not asking you to marry me, Ethan said quietly. Not yet, but I'm asking you to believe I'm in this for the long haul. When you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'll be here. Maya took the box from his hand, stared at the ring that represented everything she'd stopped letting herself want. Ask me, Ethan blinked. What? She smiled, eyes filling. Ask me. His heart hammered against his ribs. He slid from the swing, dropped to one knee on their new porch, took her hand in both of his. Maya Collins, will you marry me? She pulled him up, kissed him hard, tasted salt and promise, and home. Yes, whispered against his mouth. 1,000 times yes. 3 months later, the Crane estate garden bore no resemblance to the cold, formal space where Vanessa once orchestrated power moves and strategic alliances. White chairs stood in neat rows across the lawn. String lights crisscrossed overhead, ready to glow as evening approached. Spring flowers, pale pink peonies, white roses, lavender sprigs spilled from simple glass vases along the aisle. 30 people, that was all. No Forbes photographers, no society columnists, no business associates angling for proximity to power. Just family, just love. Lily spun in front of the hall mirror, her pale pink dress catching sunlight. Sparkles ran down the bodice, her one non-negotiable requirement. She clutched her flower basket, practicing her walk with the gravity of someone diffusing a bomb. 1, 2, 3. Drop petals. 1, 2, 3. You're going to be perfect, baby. Maya knelt, smoothing a wrinkle from Lily's skirt. In the guest room, Corinne circled Maya like a hawk, tugging at the simple lace gown. Girl, you are glowing. Maya's hands trembled as she touched the delicate fabric. Nothing extravagant, cap sleeves, fitted bodice, flowing skirt that moved like water. She'd found it at a small boutique in Oakland, and when she tried it on, the seamstress had cried. I can't believe this is real. Corinne gripped her shoulders. Believe it. That man out there is losing his mind waiting for you. Ethan stood at the altar, hands clasped to keep them from shaking. The garden stretched before him, chairs filled with faces that actually mattered. Corinne's family, Maya's former co-workers, his small circle of genuine friends. Vanessa in the front row already dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. The string quartet began. His heart stopped. Lily appeared first, basket clutched in both hands. She walked with solemn concentration, dropping petals in careful intervals. When she reached the front, she stage whispered to Ethan, I didn't mess up. His throat tightened. You were perfect, Lilybug. Then the music swelled. Maya stepped into view, and the world narrowed to just her. She walked alone, no father to give her away, no symbolic transfer of ownership. She'd been her own person through every hardship, and she walked to him now as an equal, a partner, a choice. The lace caught the light. Her natural curls framed her face, dotted with tiny white flowers. Her smile was radiant, tears already streaming. When she reached him, he took her hands. They were shaking as badly as his. Hi, she whispered. Hi. His voice cracked. The officiant spoke, but Ethan barely heard. Then came the vows, the ones they'd written, edited, rewritten, finally settled on at midnight 2 nights ago while eating ice cream in bed. Ethan pulled the folded paper from his pocket. Maya. His voice broke. He tried again. You saved me, you and Lily. I was so lost I didn't even know I was drowning. You gave me a reason to be better, to want to be better. I promise to spend every single day proving I'm worthy of this gift. I promise to show up, to listen, to hold you when you're scared and celebrate you when you're strong. I promise to be the father Lily deserves and the partner you can count on. Always. Maya's tears fell freely. She didn't bother wiping them. Ethan, 6 years ago I thought you broke me, but you didn't. You just showed me I deserved more than I was settling for. You taught me that love isn't about being chosen by someone powerful. It's about choosing each other, every day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. You've shown me what partnership looks like, what family feels like, and I promise to keep choosing you, to trust you, to build this life with you, one messy, beautiful day at a time. The officiant smiled. by the power vested in me. You may now kiss the bride." Ethan pulled her close. The kiss was soft, reverent, then deeper as applause erupted. Lily's cheer rang loudest. They did it. The reception blurred, dancing. Toasts that made everyone cry. Lily smashing cake into Ethan's face with gleeful precision. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the garden gold, Ethan caught Maya's hand and jerked his head toward the fountain. They slipped away, Lily skipping between them. The fountain burbled softly. Lily climbed onto the stone edge, swinging her legs. "Are we a real family now?" Ethan knelt, eye level with their daughter. "We've always been a real family, Lilybug. Now it's just official." She launched herself at them, arms around both their necks. Later, guests gone, they drove back to Oakland. Lily slept in her car seat, wedding cake wrapped in a napkin clutched to her chest. Inside their house, they carried her upstairs, tucked her in, kissed her forehead. In their bedroom, Maya's dress draped over the chair. Ethan's tie hung crooked. They collapsed onto the bed, still dressed, laughing from exhaustion and joy. He pulled her close. "Best day of my life." She kissed him. "Mine, too." Through the window, the Oakland hills glowed soft in twilight. Inside, 3 people who'd found each other against all odds slept soundly, finally whole.